Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of This Week in History. And since graduation is coming up, we decided to do 100 years ago, the class of 1922 that is. We'll start off with the senior class history. Who would recognize the senior class of 22 as the same motley group of students who slipped into the old high school building one morning in early September 1918? A look of awe then covered their beaming countenances, but underneath was a feeling of determination to push forward. Of the 50 who started, only about 60 have kept on and are now looking forward to the end of high school days and the commencement in life which will soon come. These students, when freshmen, made their share of mistakes and blunders due to their rank, but worked hard, and at the beginning of the second semester were allowed to change their place of abode for another field of knowledge in the new high school building. They selected for their class leaders for the freshman year Edith Myers, president, Ansel Davis, vice president, Bernice Lyons, secretary, and Harold Mills, treasurer, to represent them on the board of control. They chose Illa Redmond and Van Reeder. They were well represented in athletics, and one of their number, Ernest Warden, won first place in the county oratorical contest. The following September, a slightly smaller group of students returned, but this time they did not feel like strangers in a foreign land. This year they organized and chose Illa Redmond, president, Ruth Griffin, vice president, Ben Newton, secretary-treasurer, and Ansel Davis and Robert Webster for the board of control. Miss Shaley was chosen as faculty advisor. This year, they were again represented on the football and basketball teams, which made good showings. When called upon for a general assembly, they gave a mock wedding in which Ernest Warden was the groom and Marguerite Briggins the bride. This was carried out well and won much applause. The next fall found them back in their old place again. They chose Ernest Warden, president, Marguerite Biggins, vice president, Van Reeder, secretary-treasurer, Bessie Lewin and Mark McNair for the board of control, and Miss Shufield for faculty advisor. They were proud of their showing on the football team this year. Several junior men were on the squad, and one of them, Ralph Anderson, was chosen as all-state quarterback. They also had 6 men on the basketball squad, which won the Wabash Valley tournament. The class gave a humorous play in the new junior high building for the benefit of both schools. Towards the close of the year, they entertained the seniors with a splendid banquet and closed another successful year. September 1921 found them back for the last time. They organized early and chose for their leaders Van Reeder, president, Loretta Johnson, vice president, Ernest Warden, secretary-treasurer, who later resigned his position of secretary to Minnie Nicholson. They did wisely in selecting Miss Glenn for faculty advisor. They were again represented on a winning football team. Leyland York was chosen as All-State halfback and Ralph Anderson as second All-State quarterback. With the exception of 2, the entire basketball squad was made up of seniors. In November of their last year, they held a backwards class party, which everyone enjoyed. They are now in the last semester of high school and are preparing to give their class play. Merry Millions. Hats off to the class of 22. The senior class will of the class of 1922. We, the senior class of 1922, before setting sail on the great ship of life, realizing that all wills must be made while the makers are sound in mind and wishing to dispose of our most treasured possessions, do hereby ordain, establish, and declare this to be our last will and testament. 1. We, the seniors class of 1922 of Clinton High School, will and bequeath the senior room to the class of 23 on the condition that they do not stick gum in the inkwells or carve their names on the now perfect desks. 2. To the freshmen we bequeath our giggling mufflers to be used in Mrs. Johnson's 8th assembly. To Mr. Minnick, our honored principal, we will the exclusive rights to catch the skippers. To Superintendent McReynolds, we will our athletic ability to be distributed equally among the sophomores. To Miss Morgan, we will a pair of spectacles to be put on in the freshman classes so that said freshman may not fade away when her temper gets ruffled. To Miss Strout, we will a rose-colored dress to be worn when her hair turns gray. To the stair steps, Mrs. Glenn, Harris, and Kendall, we will the right to be entertained by the senior boys in their assemblies. To Mrs. Johnson, we will a keg of smelling salts in order that she may revive the freshies when they become tired of life. To Miss Hollis, we will the answers in our business arithmetic so that she may have a chance to get the right solutions in her notebook before coming to class. To Miss Capron, we bequeath the right to throw bricks at the senior boys if they do not behave. To Miss Boyd, we bequeath the right to serve the winning teams with her popular lemon pies. To Miss Schoolfield, we, especially Leland and Dane, will our penmanship copies to be kept in her library. To Mr. Davis, we will all our chemistry notebooks and manuals, providing he does not lend them to next year's chemists. 14. To Mr. Morgan, we bequeath the goodwill and best wishes of the class of 2022 in sincere appreciation of his loyal services while in CHS. To Miss Hand, we will the right to smile upon certain Carusos to be, providing that she does not make them nervous or ill at ease. 16. To Paul, we will the right to complain to the authorities if the freshies do not keep their paper picked up off the assembly floor. 17. Georgia Van Loo wills her chewing gum to Miss Schoolfield, providing she does not share with John W. Willis Martin wills a part of his heavy eyebrows to Miss Trout, providing she uses diamond dye. 19. Ben Newton wills his extraordinary power of argument to John Cranog, if said John promises not to fall asleep at the critical moment. Lena Phillips wills her spectacles to Miss Boyd, that she may keep a sharper watch in assemblies. Dorothy Gosnell wills her book on how to have your lessons every day to Henry Roner, providing said Hank makes good use of it. Minnie Nicholson wills her former place in the office to Nema Carlin, providing Nema does not tell how old the teachers are. Foster Prowl wills his well-known giggle to Jerry Nichols, providing Jed does not use it in Miss Glenn's assembly. Dorothy Tribble wills her raven locks to Milton Mitchell so he can't see sparks fly from his hair when he combs it. Eugene Vaughn wills all his books to Harold Mills, providing Harold does not throw them in the wastebasket. Robert Slater wills his text on how to keep slim to Raymond Baird, providing said Ray follows the rules. Charles Smith wills his long legs to Hiram Harrison on the condition that he shares them with Warren Pierce. Ruth Griffin, Lola Dean, and Lucille Hutton will their places on the team to Winifred Goldwyn, providing she grows taller, Lorraine Walker, and Wilna Eller. Marguerite Biggins wills her ability as an elocutionist to Virginia Fillinger. Wilbur Church bequeaths his magnificent mathematical mentality to Anthony LePage, providing he studies his lessons instead of throwing paper wads. Ina Hauser wills her musical ability to Harold Harrison, who is slowly progressing along that line. Josiah Church wills his unruly pompadour to Dan Lewin, providing Dan combs it every morning. Bernice Lyons grants her talent on the violin to Ethel DeMasters, providing that Ethel overcomes some of her bashfulness. Ernest Warden wills his oratorical ability to Dante Pesavento, who needs practice along that line. Frances Holt wills her long eyelashes to Mildred McLaughlin on the condition that she uses them to good advantage on Carlo. William Cooper wills his winning ways to Josiah Davis. Ellen Beatty wills her ever-useful powder puff to Hazel Race. Thelma Braun wills her brother's scholarship pin to Bob Kashner, who, we are afraid, will never earn one of his own. Elmer Wilkerson wills his ability as a sub-teacher to Rowena Satterley, provided she keeps her perfect order in her geometry class. Helen Newport wills all her knowledge of a typewriter to Elizabeth Wilson. George McNair wills his vampish ways to Tom Lowe, providing said Thomas learns how to wink. Annabel Peyton wills her I Should Worry heir to Margaret Davis. Dane Miller wills his good habits to Fred Fraser, providing Fred cultivates a conscience. Catherine Moss wills her art of fixing her hair neatly to Melissa Bell Ralston, providing said Melissa puts her hair up in curlers every night. Minetta Robertson and Marion Train will their quiet smiles to Beulah Patterson, providing she keeps up their reputations. Van Reeder wills his place as hero on the football team to Jimmy Wallace, providing no serious results occur. Mildred Mencken wills her neatness to Helen Hutton. Irma Murray wills her cheerful disposition to Helen Strain, who is suffering from spring fever blues. John Uren wills all his knowledge of Macbeth to anybody who wants it. Elizabeth Vaughan wills her knack of speedy shorthand to Myrtle Hayworth. John Donzero wills his baseball knowledge to Lawrence Goodhue, providing said Goody is an admirer of Babe Ruth. Leon Eaton wills her knowledge of the roads west to John Risher, providing he does not tear up the concrete. Charles Murdoch wills his popular chuckle to Weber Overpeck, providing said Pecky is slick enough to get by with it. Faye Meyer wills her friendly grin to Helen Tyler on the condition that she does not try to use it in Miss Hollis's class. Robert Amos grants his penmanship ability to Robert Bentz, providing Bob promises to use arm movement. Loretta Johnson wills her extra knowledge of American history to Ruth Briggs, who may need it next year. John and Tony Ave will all their commercial knowledge to all who have need of it. Ralph Anderson wills his misplaced eyebrow to Thomas Chenhall, who is trying to persuade one to grow. Mary Brown and Bessie Lewin bequeath their knowledge of the West End to John Geller and Lee McFate. Hubert Marshall grants to Harry Johnson his position as yell leader, providing Harry has the patience when the kids do not yell. John MacDonald wills his captivating tenor voice to Lee McFate, providing said Lee becomes famous enough to sing at the Capitol. Robert Webster wills his bass on the third floor hall to Raymond Hayes, providing Raymond does not talk to Frida. Elizabeth Holvey grants Helen Williams the privilege of staying home the first period if she is still sleepy. Carl James wills his knowledge of French to Millard James, providing said Millard makes as good grades as Scratchy always has. Ansel Davis wills her power to inspire poetic geniuses to whomever so wishes it. Lucille Lewis bequeaths her ability to get through high school in 3 1/2 years to Margaret Davies, who may need it. Leyland York wills his wonderful athletic ability to Ed Black, providing said Ed becomes an all-state man. Emelina Sollers wills her right to vamp the freshman boys to Isabel McLean. Warren Kreckler wills all his knowledge of a Ford to Harold Walden, providing East does not skip school to fix the aforesaid Lizzie. Done at Clinton High School this 23rd day of May, 1922. Witnesseth this instrument was signed, acknowledged, and declared on oath by said class of 1922 to be their last will and testament in our presence, and was subscribed to us by Louis Robertson and Carl Kester.